concept. Just listen, you'll get it as usual. Now, terrorism is an interesting concept. Now, since 2010, terrorism in Fort Nigeria has been battling with, even till today. When you hear the name Boko Haram, you don't need any description. Once you hear the name Boko Haram, you know that is not Father Christmas. Now, you don't need any description, you don't need any explanation. What comes to your mind is Boko Haram is a terrorist or a terrorist. Now, the interesting question is, what is terrorism? I'm fond of asking all my students this question. If you were to be kidnapped today, which would you prefer? Niger Delta militants or Boko Haram? All right. Okay, if you were to be kidnapped again, which one would you prefer? Boko Haram or OPC? Now, listen. You actually picked one or the other without understanding the truth. What comes to your mind is that Boko Haram is a terrorist. But Niger Delta militants, they are nice people. You know, when they kidnap you, they take you on vacation, they do birthday for you. No, but you say you prefer Niger Delta militants. Now, the reason why you are picking that is because of that confusion. The first question you have to ask is, who is a terrorist? It is when you know who is a terrorist that you can now know whether you prefer Boko Haram or Niger Delta militant or OPC or Masop or Miyetti Allah. You know, when they got angry in Nigeria then, they called those guys terrorists, Miyetti Allah. You know Miyetti Allah?
Yes, sir.
And they called them, are they terrorists? When they got tired again, they called IPOB terrorist. Is IPOB a terrorist organization? Igboho now, remember Igboho? That Yoruba guy that fought. Is Igboho a terrorist? No. But Buhari called him a terrorist. Exactly. Buhari called the man a terrorist. So the question is, what is who is a terrorist? Now the interesting question you have to answer that who is a terrorist? How do you know a terrorist? Terrorists don't have a national identity card. They don't have a uniform that they wear that you know that person is a terrorist. Let me give you a good example. In Israel, this happened in the 2000s, in Tel Aviv. A professor was at the bus stop. The other Israeli citizens were also at that bus stop. So the bus came, this J2 professor entered into that bus with the other Israeli citizens. Old women, children, nursing mother, they all entered into that bus. So the professor was seated. You know, halfway into the journey, the professor noticed that an elderly woman was standing. He stood up and allowed the woman to sit down. They also noticed that with the baby, the woman was carrying, he picked the baby, you know, rocked the baby to sleep. 30 minutes into that journey, he detonated the bomb he was carrying, killing everybody. I said that, how do you know a terrorist? Check your neighbor. It gets interesting. In Nigeria, Boko Haram came to the limelight during Obasanjo's regime, Obasanjo's administration. When that thing started in the north, Yobe, Maiduguri, and the rest of Borno. When that started in the north, you know what Obasanjo said? When they got tired, they could not kill this guy, first month, second month, third month, fourth month, 1 year. He just said, okay, fine. Anybody with long beard must be a terrorist. No, it was that serious. That anybody that has long beard must be a terrorist. Because I said you have no identity. You can't identify them. And with this talk, we cannot know whether you're in history or you're in Yoruba. We just know you are a student. The Alaja is this way does not mean she's studying Arabic. That you are wearing that shawl does not mean you are studying Arabic or Islamic studies. No. That is not the identity of the course that you are doing. It was the same way. So Nigeria just got tired and said everybody with that long something must be a terror. In the north, people started shaving their beards. Everybody started going clean shaven. But there was the case of one chief man that had grown his beard for 50 years, very white and luxurious, like that's Father Christmas. The man cut it enough. When BBC interviewed him, you know what the man said? He said he takes the living to appreciate beer. That when you are dead, you know, the policy there was you shoot first, then you ask questions later. And nobody will remember that your beer was wonderful and flop. When that did not work, you know what Abbas just said again? To show the kind of seriousness that thing actually created post to Nigeria. He said anybody with short trousers, stuff we call tablik. Short trousers now, I think we call that in tablik now. Yeah, we call it Michael Jackson trousers or something. Anybody with short trousers must be terrorists. People started wearing long trousers in the north. It was a serious problem. People started wearing long trousers in the north. But that still did not help that problem. Then Boko Haram became global. Terrorism became global, especially in Nigeria. Then nobody's safe. It got so bad that when you want to pray in church, they no longer tell you to close your eyes. Open your eyes and pray. And be checking as you are praying. And when you are praying and you see any strange bag, let the spirit move you. Just shift. They started using bomb detectors in churches. Bomb detectors. Started checking everybody's cars and the rest of the something. Even in fact, they even tell you when they are passing information, as if you are a responsible church member, if you see any stranger, report. If somebody drops their bag, report. I don't waste time. When we are praying and I see any bag, I shift. I don't even call usher. I move. When you get up and your bag is there, you want to go and wee, I follow you. Now, the problem is, you can't define a terrorist. You can't identify a terrorist. It was so bad then, 2016, when I was invited to Germany to come and lecture them. I took 2-3 hours to dress fine at home and everything. On getting to the airport, I stripped. Not just me, everybody. We have to pass through a metal detector. You remove your shoe, you remove your belt, you remove everything, you remove your key. All because of terrorism. I mean, I don't look like a terrorist, but nobody knows tomorrow. The point is, they just have to. And they just, I did that when I got to Nigeria. I did the same thing when I got to Turkey. I did the same thing when I got to Germany. I just got tired. I just got palm and just wore palm. No need of socks and shoe. And then before I got there, I'll remove the belt and put it. I can't remove it. No need. So the problem, it shows the problem with terrorism. You can only destroy a disease when you can define that disease. If you cannot define a disease, then you can't destroy. If you have malaria and you are treating typhoid, you are dead. If you have typhoid and you are still treating malaria, you are still dead. If you see HIS 101 and you are using HIS 107 to answer it, carry over confirm. And that's why you have to define. Definition matters. That's why when you are feeling hot, the first thing they tell you to do at the hospital is go and do test. Test is because they want to define what exactly is wrong. But you can say, no, it's in your generation, in your family, everybody usually feel that way, and they take paracetamol. No problem. Go and do test. When you do test, they define whatever it is that is wrong with you. Can I continue? Yes. So our first problem is trying to define terrorism. You must define terrorism and make sure that it is different from war, from conflict. I said it in the first class, every word has its own unique meaning. We are all Nigerians. We are all humans. Remember? Yeah. But then we all have distinct features. So we are all Nigerians. We are all humans. But we all have distinct features. Even Taiwan came in now, there is something that still distinguish them. Exactly. So we all look the same. To the white man, we all look the same. And to us, to all the white people, they all look the same. But we all have our unique features that separate us from one another. It's the same with definition. You cannot use the definition of one word to define another. No, every word has its own unique meaning. So quickly. So it defines terrorism. Terrorism is the deliberate use of violence. Terrorism is the deliberate, planned, systemic use of violence. And this is where it differs from war. Deliberate, planned, systemic use of violence by non-state actors. By non-state actors. So when I say non-state actors, it can be IPOB, can be MASO, can be Boko Haram. I did not say state. By non-state actors. So the question is why? To instill fear with the aim of achieving political objectives. That is one of the best definitions ever. Even the foreign scholars confirmed it when they saw that definition. So this deliberate or systemic use of it is not just violence anyhow, targeted violence. And the object of that violence, listen, the object of that violence is to put fear, to instill fear. Fear is the greatest currency of terrorists. Fear is the greatest currency of terrorists. To instill fear, then with the aim of achieving political. So that means terrorism is a tool It's like a pen, and you use it to achieve the objective. What is the political objective of Boko Haram? To create a state. So the deliberateness of it's not random violence. That stuff is deliberate, targeted violence. So that's why when you watch horror film, the thing is always targeted. Horror film deals with fear compared to action film. The action film, they shoot you, they are dead. Horror film, they won't shoot. I don't know. You know what? Mortal Kombat. Yeah, fatality. You know, the way they those things, pieces, and show all the innards and the rest of them. As to instill fear with the aim of achieving political objectives. All those removing belts at the airport was based on fear because they are not sure. At a point, even till now, it still affects us in the West, in the South here. That fear still affects us. If I want to pick Okada, I'll play with the outside guy. There are some funny things. If you didn't respond, I'll just tell you no need. I'm not going. I'm not going. If it's too serious with that thing, I'm not going. It's not by force. If I want to enter into a bus and somebody is holding his beer and is doing, I say, I'm not interested. It's not by force to go. It's just that, that's why they keep warning you before you enter into the bus, be aware. Check the faces of the occupants. Check the faces of, that is the fear working. I don't know if I told you, I enjoy going to Alabarago now to mingle with these Hausa and Fulani people. And they are quite friendly. When I still went there yesterday, my free time, still play with them. In my mind, I was just thinking, they said these guys are the one killing over there. And again, my subconscious was also telling me that among them we have terrorists. But it looks so simple, very easy going. I mean, we were using broken English and the rest of the something. I was just teasing, they were teasing me and the rest of something. But in my mind again, and I was saying, these are potential killers. Remember, I said to instill fear. Fear is the currency. That is all they are interested in. That is why when you hear the name Boko Haram, you know what comes into your mind. Fear. When you hear the name Boko Haram, you know what comes into your mind. So they use violence, if not for time. I will explain what I said. They don't just use normal, but okay, fine. What they call them? ISIS, Islamic State in Iraq. One of the most brutal terrorist groups back then, before America killed the leader al-Baghdadi. We'll get to that gentleman later in the course of the lecture, probably when you're at your 200 or 300 or 400 level. Now, say, Islamic State don't just kill, but they kill to send a message, and they kill to instill fear. When the world was trying to gather coalition to go against them, to fight them, to destroy them, they captured some Americans. They now took these Americans to a mountain. Are you listening? They've stabbed them so that the Adam's apple will show. They've stabbed them very well so that the Adam's apple will show. So and these guys knows how to make beautiful videos with nice soundtrack. I mean, you check their videos, you fall in love with the quality of that their production. So they took this guy, I think about 6 of them, just put them they were down, tied their hands to their back. Of course, now they raised their neck. Then they started the music in the background. Then the masked guy was now rapping, saying different kind of thing. Then the camera will now pan to another guy. You see the guy sharpening the knife. Then the camera will go to the neck of that person. Then come back again and sharpen. I told you already holding on the Jesus Christ. And then the guy sharpening the knife will just go and test. Like you are just test it, then go back again. And then the other guy is still rapping. American is what will happen to you if you come in the name of. He was just there. That fear is already there. So you use violence to instill fear to achieve political objective. They could have killed those guys without anybody knowing, but they want to use them to send a message. And that is terrorism. September 11 attack was spectacular, one of the greatest. 2001, when those terrorists, they didn't attack America on the land, so they used normal aircraft. They use that to send the message that you are not safe in your country. No country has successfully attacked America till today. But Al-Qaeda succeeded where others failed. That is why we now go through that problem. Whenever you are going through any airport, you have to go through metal detector. The one nonsense Nigerian actually destroyed the reputation of Nigeria. Talab, what was his name? He had put bomb in his pants. Oh, you didn't get to hear first. But unfortunately, the thing exploded and injured him. And From that day to the whites, to the west, every Nigerian is a terrorist. I say fear. So when you get to the immigration, they are just checking your crotch. They are just looking at it. They are just, and if you are not sure, they invite you to one side room and you strip. I said to instill fear with the aim of achieving political objective. Terrorism is a tool. You are not just killing because you want to. No, you have a reason for killing. So the killing is always deliberate to achieve an objective. Please, can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Don't worry, we'll come across this topic later because of time. Now, typology. Now, there are 4 types of terrorism. Now, you have what they call T1, T2, T3, T4. T1, T2, T3, T4. Sounds like Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Terminator 4. Arnold Schwarzenegger. T1, terrorism 1.0, terrorism 2.0, terrorism 3.0, then terrorism 4.0. As I said, T1, T2, T3, T4. Can I continue?
Yes.
Now, before I came up with my own classification, my own typology of what terrorism is, the West, what they used to have is, they call it religious terrorism, radical terrorism. They left it terrorism or something like that. So you have T1, T2, T3, T4. Now, I define T1 as traditional terrorism. I define T1 as traditional terrorism. Traditional terrorism is the use of violence. Listen, I said is the use of violence and act of criminality. That is what distinguishes it from just normal terrorism. So the use of violence and act of criminality by non-state actor to achieve political objective. The use of violence and act of criminality. What are these acts of criminality? Which is what Boko Haram is now doing. Kidnapping people, holding them for ransom, stealing gari, stealing rice, yes, stealing rice, stealing cattle, stealing malt, stealing drugs. In fact, shockingly, stealing condoms. I said, say, not just violence now, they combine violence with acts of criminality to achieve their political objective, to instill fear and achieve their political objective. Can I continue?
Yes.
So 1.0 is traditional terrorism to instill violence, but then combined with acts of criminality. So that's why you keep hearing in the north now, kidnapping, then robbing. They are terrorists, but then when they run out of money, they kidnap, they get more money to continue with their traditional activities. T2. T2 is the use of violence. The use of violence to destroy cultural artifacts. The use of violence by non-state actors to destroy cultural artifacts with the aim of achieving political objective. Cultural artifact. 2001, the biggest and the largest statue of Buddha in the world was destroyed by the Taliban. That statue was carved into a mountain. People venerated the statue now. It was carved into a mountain. I mean, it's like a place of pilgrimage where Buddhists, they go to pray. Everybody begged the Taliban not to destroy it. Even the Pope, even some imam, they begged the Taliban not to destroy that thing. But because they wanted to send a message and instill violence and instill fear, they destroyed that statue. So the destruction of cultural artifacts to instill fear and send a message. And that is what Boko Haram is also doing in the north.